Okay, this video is about sharing a quantity in a given ratio. Okay, I'm going to work through two examples, fairly basic examples, where we take a quantity and share it in a ratio given in the question. Okay, let's look at this first example. We have Tom and Jerry win a competition and the prize is £150. They're going to share the prize money, but because Jerry did do twice as much work as Tom, he's going to get more. In fact, they're going to share the prize money in the ratio 1:2. And this means that for every £1 Tom gets, Jerry gets £2. So Jerry is going to get twice as much as Tom. Now I'm going to highlight the key things in this question. We've got £150 sharing in the ratio 1:2. Those are the two key amounts. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for the quantity you're sharing and the ratio you're sharing it into. So how do we go about tackling this question? So the first thing we need to look at is this ratio in terms of parts, because that's what ratio basically tells us. I'm going to do Terry there rather than Tom. Start again. Okay, Tom, Jerry, 1:2. So Tom to Jerry, the ratio is going to be 1:2. So for every £1 Tom gets, Jerry gets £2. So you could just go £1 to Tom, £2 to Jerry, £1 to Tom, £2 to Jerry, until you run out of money. But that's going to take ages. So there must be a better way of doing it. So the first thing we need to look at is the total number of parts that we have, because those numbers in that ratio represent parts. So basically Tom is going to get one part and Jerry's going to get two parts of that £150. So total number of parts is simply 1 plus 2, which is 3 parts. And that's always the first step in this basic sharing a quantity in a given ratio. So that's important. We need to know that. Now we need to work out the value of one part. Okay, so one part is our £150 divided by 3, our total number of parts, and that of course is a nice £50. Okay, so one part is worth £50. Once you know the value of one part, you can then work out the value of 2 parts, 3 parts, any number of parts you like. Okay, and this ratio is very simple. So Tom is only getting one part, so Tom's one part, okay, is 1 times 50. You wouldn't normally do this. I'm just doing this for the example. 1 times £50 is obviously £50, and Jerry's 2 part. Jerry gets 2 parts. He worked twice as hard. That's 2 times the value of one part. £50 there, which is of course £100. Now what we should check as well, that there's the two quantities we got add up to the quantity we started off with, which is 150, and so we should always do a little quick check to make sure that is the case, and it is. I didn't line those up very well there, didn't mean to. 50 plus 100, we can do that anyway without worrying about columns. So the answer to the question is Tom gets £50 and Jerry gets £100, and Jerry has got twice as much as Tom, like it says in the question. Okay, let's look at example 2. Turn my pen off so I can scroll up. Oops, get rid of that. Oh, no. Come on. Alright, example 2. Started to do this. I'm going to start again. Okay. Example 2. Share £300 between 3 people, David, Sean and Jack, in the ratio 2:5:3. So you can have more than 2 numbers in a ratio. Okay, depends on how many people or how many bits you're splitting it into. Okay. So when we look at that, David is getting 3 parts, Sean is getting 5 parts, and Jack is getting 3 parts. Remember that the order of the names in the question match the order of the numbers in the ratio. So just going to write that down like I did in the other example. I'm going to write David to Sean to Jack is the ratio 2 to 5 to 3. So based on those number of parts that each of them are going to get of the £300, you can see Sean's going to get the most, then Jack, then David. And that's a good idea to think about that before you work it out. So when you look at your answers, you're looking for a number where Sean's got the most, Jack's in the middle, and David the least, before you start tackling the question. Just get a flavour for the answer. So like the other example, total number of parts first. Okay, total number of parts, 2 plus 5 plus 3 is a nice 10 parts altogether. Okay, what does 1 part equal? Because we need the value of 1 part. Well, we take the £300 and we divide it by our total number of parts, 10, and we get a lovely £30. Remember, when you divide by 10, if there's no at the end, you basically remove it, but what's happening, all the digits are moving down one place. Okay, so the 300 goes into the 3 tens. Okay, £30. Right, so now we know the value of 1 part, we can work out the value of all the numbers of parts we need in our question. So David he's going to get 2 parts, so 2 times £30, which is of course £60, and Sean is going to get 5 parts, so that's 5 times £30, which is £150, and finally Jack, he's getting 3 parts, and if each part is £30, it's 3 times £30, which is of course £90. And then a quick check to see that adds up to £300, which is what we started off with. So I've lined it up a bit better this time. 6, 11, yeah, that's 20, and the 1, £300. So it does add up to what we expected. So there's your 3 answers. Okay, David gets £60, Sean gets £150, and Jack gets £90. And we checked that they all add up to £300, which they do. Okay, and that is basically sharing a quantity in a given ratio. With the first example, looking at a ratio containing 2 numbers, 1 to 2, and the second example looking at when a ratio has 3 numbers, 2 to 5 to 3. The method is the same for both. Always find the total number of parts first, find the value of 1 part. It's a bit like percentages. When we find the value of 1%, we can work out any percentage. When we find the value of 1 part in a ratio, we can work out any number of parts in a ratio. And then we do it. Okay? Hope that helps. Thank you very much.